What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. As you may have heard, there are a group of Caucasian people, whites in Arkansas, who have purchased a certain amount of land and they're building a whites-only community. This is something I heard that might have been happening in Louisiana earlier this year, and now these group of whites are doing it. And this guy was on, the founder of this community was on TMZ. This guy's name is Tariq, and he said this.
So first of all, explain the premise. Why a white-only community?
Well, many white Americans do value their European heritage, and we don't think there's anything wrong with that. Many also are afraid that our identity is under threat from mass immigration, low fertility rates, just cultural changes. And we're not just a racial association. We also value traditional European culture, architecture, music, art. And so we want to create a space where that can be celebrated.
So Myron saw this particular interview on X and he went and he made a very interesting post. Why is a whites-only community even a problem? Unpopular take, but let's be real. All of the most advanced Western countries started as white majority nations. Why the hell is it wrong for whites to actually give a damn about their heritage and want to keep it alive? I see black nationalists like Umar Johnson or Tariq Nasheed getting props for pushing black pride, sticking to their own for relationships and building big platforms around it. Meanwhile, guys like Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, or Nick Fuentes get banned everywhere for saying the same ish about whites. What's with the hypocrisy? So let me just deal with that. I feel like what he's saying is it's somewhat, I mean, he's not that smart, but he tried to think it out somewhere. He thinks he's going somewhere with this. But let's buy this argument. All right. If all most advanced Western countries started out as white majority nations, and if that's the case, then why did they need slavery in the first place? Okay. Like if it's white majority, and Mr. Tariq Orwell, clearly they don't want to be around anybody else. I mean, you can call it racist, you can call it whatever it wants. It's his business. But if it was white majority, then that means that you have the manpower. You want to keep it to yourself. You don't need anybody else. But what happened? That's not what happened, right? The whites had America. They took it from the Indians. And then what happened? They didn't want to do all the work. So they indulged in the slave trade and wanted the blacks to do the work. And at the same time, wanting to do the blacks to do the work and then telling the blacks, you're in slavery, because at first you were indentured servants, then you're in slavery, then you're 3/5 of a man. Then I better not catch you learning how to read. If I find you reading, then I'm gonna kill you. Then you have the unmitigated gall to sleep with your female slaves. So again, you don't want to mix with them, but clearly you're mixing with them because you can have somebody as dark as me in the community, and then you have people like Steph Curry in the community. Well, how did he get like that? And I'm just black. Well, obviously my ancestors wasn't getting clapped that much, but I guarantee you I have a white ancestor. I can guarantee you. Why? Because you couldn't stop clapping black cheeks, right? Then you create this problem called Black Americans that you tired of, so to speak, right? Then you look at Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed, who preach for pushing black pride, sticking to their own for relationships and staying together, but they're saying it from a different reason than Mr. Orwell is saying it. When we talk about like black separation, and if you want to call me a black separatist, somebody could call me that if they wanted to, because I live in Uganda. My platforms are all pro-black. I don't deal with many white people day to day, and I prefer it here, although my quality of life will be better back in the States or somewhere else. What is the reason behind that? Well, let's figure it out. Most black separatists become black separatists based on racial discrimination. So they figure I might as well go ahead on and stick to the opportunities I can find in Africa or in the black community and stay as far away from other groups. Because again, you have blacks who want black pride. You do have blacks who want to stick to their relationships. But to be honest, black people are not as judgmental. Mostly anywhere where blacks or Africans are at, they're not judgmental as much as whites are. That whole racist thing that, I don't want you dating my daughter if you're not, that's not really what happens with black people. Black people have to understand that after a while, there's a ceiling dealing with whites. So I don't want to go through that. So I figure that I'm going to always be in a loop. So let me go. So the reason why that Dr. Umar or Tariq Nasheed might want to push for black pride, it's out of a self-defense mechanism. Whereas this guy has a self-defense mechanism for something else. You created the problem, Mr. Orwell. Your people created the problem. They ran the country. They own the country. The whites are illegals that are coming into the country. You've always been ahead of the country. So that's y'all's problem. It wasn't that black Americans let somebody else in. If you were afraid of black Americans or the Negro or historical hashtag African American, hashtag FBA, if you want to say that they're violent, if you want to say that they're not smart, if you want to say that they're self-destructive, if those are your arguments, then I want an actual question. How did they get that way? Because you created what you wanted to see, didn't you? Like, that's how you wanted them to be. Dr. Claude Anderson says we were engineered to be in our position. Now, this doesn't mean that self-accountability is not important, because it is. This doesn't mean that we don't have the ability to change our situation, because we do. But what it does mean is that we were designed to do what we are doing most of all, which is speaking the white man's language, not having any kind of trust for one another, not appreciating one another, and respecting whites more than we respect blacks. Oh, looking at ourselves as inferior in comparisons to being superior. So now that you have created all of these problems for yourself, you say, I don't want this no more. Let me give you an example. In The Godfather, there is a scene in Godfather 1. Marlon Brando is talking to the heads of the family. It's like 5 families in the New York crime world. He's there. One of the members of the family, I don't know which one it was, he gets up and he says, listen, guys, we need to get into the drug business and we'll sell our drugs to the blacks. It's okay, like, let them destroy themselves. Marlon Brando got up and said, listen, I understand you want to sell the drugs to the blacks. I get it. But it's not that I care so much about the blacks. But here's what I want to say. You want to destroy the blacks with drugs and keep it over there with them. But what you don't understand is our kids are going to get affected by it. Our kids will also be destroyed by the drugs. So what happens? Well, they agree to start selling drugs. And who is affected by drugs? Sonny, his oldest son, can't get off that cocaine. And he's so paranoid, and he's so, he's insane. It's so bad that behind Marlon Brando's back, they have to assassinate Sonny. They killed him. He was so incoherent and such a danger to the family, they had to kill Sonny. In other words, the drugs destroyed everybody. So now when you look at the blacks and you think that they're a problem and you think they've done here and there, so what happens is once you engineer, and I'm talking about if this is your argument, it might not be, but I think most people like Myron would believe that blacks are a problem. When you engineer blacks to be like you're talking about it, you didn't ever think that it was going to affect you, did it? You didn't ever think that you was gonna get some pushback from them same blacks, did you? Or you didn't expect that them blacks was gonna win over some whites and that some whites would start wanting to deal with them like your daughter. You didn't think your daughter would like black men. Or you didn't think your son would like black women. You didn't think that your kids was not gonna feel the same way as you. And so what's going to happen now, you're paying the price and you can't take that. So Myron gonna go over here and bootlick for Zaddy and them and come up to Tariq and Dr. Umar when, Myron, we know you want to be over there with them and they don't want your ass. They don't want your ass, Myron. It's all over. They don't want you. They don't want you and they don't need you. And they ain't thinking about you. The reality is white people complained about the problem that they have created for themselves. Now they want to get away from it, which is okay. But that's the problem that you made. Black people wasn't bothering y'all. We was over there in Africa doing whatever the hell we was doing. If some of you want to say that we're indigenous to America, okay, we was wherever y'all said, minding our business. We definitely had on some sandals. We was enrolling in Clapperthon Technical University. Even back then, we wasn't worried about it. But y'all had to come over there and mess up the party. Y'all can't even stay away from black folks. You'd be surprised at how many of these dudes secretly on Instagram watching twerk videos. I don't like those blacks. Oh my God, what is this? Who was twerking Keisha? Oh my goodness. You see? Well, guys, what do you think? It's your boy Nasheed D. Jackson back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I produce it for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.